lesbian Nazi hookers abducted by UFOs and forced into weight loss programs. All this week on The Cooper and Anthony Show.
He is a writer, executive producer. You may know him from Family Guy, American Dad, The Orville. But his latest joint is the critically acclaimed movie that stars Anna Gary Rice and Gaten Matarazzo called Honor Society. And you can watch it right now on Paramount Plus. Please welcome David Goodman back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So Honor Society is okay, first of all, when I heard you wrote this movie, first I was like, well, he's friggin' brilliant, so I'm sure it's going to be funny. And it was, but here's the thing that I need to ask you right up front. This movie is about a teenage girl, a girl in high school, and the trials and tribulations kind of thing with a couple of really good twists at the end. Yeah. Did this inspired by when you were a teenage girl, or like what?
I did go to high school, Cooper.
I realized that, but how could you relate? It was amazing. This is the amazing thing that it's like, how did you write this so well from her perspective?
You connected to it. I want to hear how you connected to it. I mean, it's like you personally connected to the young woman.
I did, because she's relentless. And she's an overachiever, which as an only child, I've always been. And she's also an only child. I feel like that's, a marker of being an only child. You want to keep impressing there's no other kids that can do stuff. So you got to do everything. The pressure's on. So I related to that. I also related to the being pretty and smart, but also an outcast at the same time. Like you had popular friends, but yet you didn't quite fit in with them,
Mm-hmm.
And then really using people to get what you want. I mean, I got to tell you, I think a lot of teenage girls do that. I certainly did.
I've never been a starship captain either, or an English, a baby with an English accent. And I've written for those characters as well. So I really appreciate the compliment. It was inspired by a lot of things. It's inspired by my time in high school, even though that was pre-cell phones and automobiles. And it was also inspired by my daughter, who was a senior in high school when I wrote it. I wrote it about 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And she was a senior, and I think that I have a close relationship with her, and we talked a lot about the things she was going through, so that inspired it. And it also was inspired by my son, who was a theater kid in high school and college, and it came out of my own experience and my own sort of inward experience, and it came out of sort of my view of high school movies, which I feel are in a lot of ways are dishonest. And so I felt like there's a way in which the movie starts out. You think you're watching kind of a female version of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Mm-hmm.
And then it shifts. That was intentional, that the audience should feel like it's one thing, and then it becomes something else.
What part of it was your experience in high school?
That's interesting. I don't know that there was anything specific that was mine. I mean, I certainly related to certain aspects of the character of Michael, the nerd who gets bullied and abused. I think there's that comment that Honor makes towards the beginning of the movie, the theater club where kids go where they don't belong anywhere else, when they don't belong anywhere else. And that was, even though it's sort of a snarky comment, she obviously changes her view of that over the course of the movie. And that's kind of my experience. This was a place you could go where you'd be accepted. I wasn't a jock. I didn't play a musical instrument. But the theater club was, the theater kids were a place you felt you belonged.
You weren't a jock? What a shock. What a surprise.
So many surprises on this show today. You wanted to get back at me because of the Wikipedia page comment.
I did, actually. I really did, yeah.
So the thing I liked about it, the movie's called Honor Society, and it's about a girl named Honor.
Right.
So I want to help you out, and I wrote 11 more movies for you. that you can write.
Let's hear him, Anthony. Let's go.
For this girl. Okay, so you have to sign this girl to a long-term contract.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she's got to do a bunch of movies, like Maid of Honor.
Uh-huh.
Where she goes to somebody that gets married.
Yeah, Maid of Honor.
Yeah, she goes to college, so there's honor roll.
Honor roll.
Yeah, she becomes a Boy Scout. There's Scouts honor.
She becomes a Boy Scout. Why wouldn't she become a Girl Scout?
Well, because, you need the twist.
She joins a metal band, and it's Medal of Honor.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you're making these jokes. I actually named the movie as we had a joke in the Family Guy writers' rooms of terrible movies where they take and TV shows where they take the name of the main character and make it a play on words. And that was actually the inspiration of naming it Honor Society to bug the writers in the Family Guy writers' room.
Oh, I love that little tidbit, a little insider information. I love that behind the scenes thing.
Behind the scenes.
He's going to keep going. I'm just wondering.
I have more movies for you.
Yeah, he's got more for you.
I have Your Honor, where she could be like a judge, but that's also a musical. So Your Honor will be a musical also. The next two are horror movies, Honor Thy Mother and Honor Thy Father, where she kills her parents.
It's a sequel.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Men of Honor, where she becomes a prostitute.
Right.
So that can be a musical also.
Wait a minute. How does Men of Honor have anything to do with being a prostitute?
Because she has a bunch of men. Men of Honor. She just.
David, this is your job, David. It's not his.
I'm coming up with the names. You have to write it.
Trying to figure out the story from Men of Honor.
How about Sandra Day O'Connor Honor?
Yeah. She joins the Supreme Court.
Yeah. And then I have Honor Embalmer, where she buys a funeral home and has a gay brother and her father is a ghost.
Can we be done with this now?
How long did you work on that list?
There, I gave you 11 movies.
11 movies. I like Maid of Honor, honestly. I've been trying to figure out what's the sequel, and I think I just figured it out. See, Michael is engaged to marry one of her friends from camp or something.
No, the hot girl that wears the cut-off shirt in the movie. Yeah, she gets married and she has to go. Honor has to go.
No, you guys are missing the real. Like, a Maid of Honor should be a horror film where she gets killed and they wear her skin. Kind of like. Silence of the.
What does maid have to do with that?
It's your body it's Maid of Honor,
Maid.
MADE, Maid of Honor, like what the skin suit you're being forced to wear is Maid of Honor.
But you have to do that one last because you have 11 more movies,
right?
So
11.
Do that one last.
Yeah, you can't kill her till the end.
I appreciate those pictures, Anthony.
So back to real life. Why did you decide on Paramount Plus? What's the process? So you write a movie. You wrote this movie 7 years ago. Just take us through the process of what happens from I wrote a movie to now it's on Paramount Plus.
Well, I pitched it to a company called Awesomeness TV 7 years ago. Awesomeness TV is a production company that started out, it was going to be shows on YouTube, and it was aimed at the teen audience, and it was started by a guy named Brian Robbins. And Awesomeness now produces lots of stuff, including like Pen 15 is their show.
One of my favorites.
A genius television show. But back then they were just going to be putting stuff up on YouTube. And I knew Brian. I had done the Fred movies with Brian. I don't know if you remember those movies, but
Anthony's kids love those. Those are his favorites. Their favorites, yeah.
Favorites. And Brian produced those, and I wrote the first two of those. So I pitched him this idea without giving the twist away. I pitched him sort of the one line sort of twist, and he liked it and he bought it. So I wrote the script for him then. They didn't make it then. Over a period of time, things happened. Awesomeness got bought by Paramount, the studio.
Okay.
And Brian decided now he still had the script, he still liked it, and he decided to make it. Because now Brian is head of Paramount. Like that's the other thing. Like so it is part of it is what you know, and part of it's who you know. And I had done this. I'd worked with Brian a lot, and we had a good working relationship, and that's why I bought the script, and that's why he made the script.
Did you have a girl in mind for Honor, or did she just show up at casting?
I didn't when I wrote it. I mean, I had a sort of an idealized vision of who she was, and then Aron Zegman, who's the director, was really the one with producers handling the casting. She ran people by me, and then we knew Angouries' work from Mayor of Easttown. She would play the daughter in Mayor of Easttown.
She was so good in Mayor of Easttown. Yeah,
she's amazing. And she's an amazing actress. And she came in and she did a bunch of auditions for the role of Honor. And she brought a humanity to the character that I think really wasn't on the page. I mean, she made sure that you believe this was a real person. She's a very, very talented actress and very emotionally engaging in the movie. So it's hard now to picture anybody else in that role because she did such an amazing job of making it her own.
Now, how much say do you have in all of that? Because so my family's background is in theater, and I know that as a playwright, you go in, you write a play, and then they're like, "See ya," and then if they invite you to opening night, you're lucky. Other than that, that's it. So, as a screenwriter, how much say do you have in anything that goes on?
Almost none. In this case, however, this was the director's first feature, and she was very collaborative with me. She wanted me to stay engaged in the process. So I looked at auditions, and then she gave me notes for a rewrite. And then I was on set every day of production as well, giving input, giving thoughts about what the way the script was being interpreted. So in this case, I had a lot of say, but generally speaking, movie writers generally don't. And so this was a very exciting process for me to be completely engaged the way I am. In television, the writer has a lot of say. Mm-hmm. In movies, they often do not. In this case, however, I had a lot of input.
How is the Stranger Things kid? What's his name?
Gaten Matarazzo. Yeah.
How is he? He's amazing.
He's amazing. I mean, in person, is he a good kid? Is he?
He's a great guy. I mean, he's still young. I mean, I think he's like 19. I mean, it's kind of crazy that he's had this amazing career already, and he's still like not even 20. and just a total pro. I mean, that's the other thing. You see somebody who's come up. I mean, he was a theater actor too. He's actually on Broadway now doing Dear Evan Hansen. And just an incredibly accomplished. And he really wanted to talk about the character, like he wanted to know my influences for this character. And we talked a lot about that, and it helped him reading some of the lines and just understanding where this guy was coming from. But a really talented actor, and the chemistry between him and Angourie is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was really, really good casting. So did you recommend movies for him to watch? Because he is 19. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a background in the films we grew up with, but were there certain films that you were like, you know what, go watch that because that's kind of the inspiration?
No, he was more like he was watching Doctor Who episodes because the kid's a nerd, so he's watching that. And he wanted to hear stories because the character it's not really based on me. It's actually based on this guy I went to college with who was this incredible nerd and amazing nerd, a genius scientist guy. I remember we were online we were online in the cafeteria. His name was Michael too, and we were online for the cafeteria, and it was like a special food night, and we were online. It was taking a long time, and I said something like, "Gee, I hope it's worth it. That this longer line is worth it." And Michael said, "Yes, one would hope it would be a proportional difference." And
like who talks like that in high school?
And this was college, but he was like,
college.
It was so funny, but also nerdy. And there's a line like that Michael, the character, says to Honor in the chemistry class. She says, if I make, that was inspired by that moment in college. So he was really. And that basically this kid, Michael, in college was he was a science guy. He was really into science, but then he came to one of these events in the dorm, and he did stand up, and he was hilarious. And he was hilarious. So that was also really funny. Like it's sort of, that's sort of the theme of the movie, is that nobody is who you think they are.
Right. That's so true. And like I said, there's, without giving anything away, there's actually several twists, if you think about it, several twists that happen in the movie that are completely unpredictable. And I think that Variety, the New York Times, had said that. And I thought, well, I've seen so many movies at this point. I'm like you. I watched everything. I grew up on movies in the 90s and whatever, 80s and 90s. I was truly surprised more than once watching this.
Very satisfying to hear. Most people are. There have been a couple of writer friends who said they figured it out, but they're trying to.
Right.
And it's more like you got lost watching the movie. You were into the story.
Right. And it was so, you're right. The relationship between the two of them was so compelling that I did get so involved with it that I really wondered, well, where's this going? What's going to happen here? And then when the twist happened, I was like, oh man, he got me.
Like twice in the movie. Yeah.
Well,
there's a couple of twists.
As a screenwriter is to make people feel stupid.
That's pitching. You definitely did that. Why didn't you? I understand that it's a movie, but for me, I want to be with these characters more. Would you consider, do you think there's any way to turn this into a series, a television series?
I think there's a show like it you could do. Absolutely. I mean, that was actually something somebody said to me before they decided to make the movie, like, why don't you rewrite it as a pilot? And you absolutely could. It would have to have a different goal. This movie had a goal, which was for this character to sort of learn what she says she learned at the end, about opening herself up, and that idea of revealing yourself and risking yourself. I don't think that's the same in a television show. You would need to sort of figure out another goal for the television show.
Right.
But yeah, sure you could. But to me, Honor at the end of the movie is in a much different place than she is at the beginning of the movie in terms of who she is as a person. And I think that you can do that in a movie. In a TV show, you can't do that fast.
There was one comment that I saw which makes me laugh, because the way TV is done now, somebody said it moved too fast. And which is the thing now, because you had a really good hour and a half, whatever it is, hour and 45-minute movie. That's what most TV shows are, but they stretch it out for 9 hours.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, they really, there was a lot cut from the script. Nothing that I missed now. They did an excellent job. The director and producers did an excellent job of paring it down. But part of it too, I think, because there are surprises in the movie, if it was a little longer, I think people might see those surprises coming. It's going along so fast that you don't even realize.
The pace is part of it, right. Now, how much of the stuff in the beginning, like with I'm not giving anything away, but like the moments where you see her putting on her H necklace and you're looking at her wall with all the photographs on it, and how much of that did you actually write into the script? How much of that is a decision made later on by the DP and the director or whoever does that?
I had a opening scene. I described that she's got a wall full of stars at the time. I think I might have updated them because
from 7 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm. But that was to a poppy scene. She's getting ready for school. It was sort of generally what you saw, and then Aran, the director, really got into it. She wanted to get into makeup. She wanted to get into clothes. I had something in there about clothes in the closet. Organized in the closet, and she has all this makeup. Aran got into the details. I didn't, it was funny. I was on the set, and then Gary's sister, younger sister, was on the set with her through the whole thing, and she would sit with me and the producers while we watched. And I suddenly noticed somewhere 3 weeks in, I noticed the necklace, the H necklace, and I said, "Oh, look at that H necklace!" And And Gary's sister Calliope turns to me and says, "That's been there the whole time." She's Australian. and like I didn't notice it. So there's plenty of stuff, and the yoga that she does and the specific makeup that she does, and obviously the shots and the beat. Like that song was a song that Iran found. It's actually an Israeli performer, Noah Carell, I think is how you pronounce it.
To open the movie.
Then Oran filmed it so that she would go to the music. That's a very talented director. The way she shot it, and then she had the rhythm of the music in her head, and then she edited it to that song, and it's very effective.
I thought very effective. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I was curious, like how much you do and how much she does. That's really interesting.
I gave sort of the inspiration for the scene, and I wrote some details about what was on the wall, but then I collaborated with her, and then she brought it to life.
Yeah, I was wondering, even like her haircut, it's perfect for that part, because if it was too long, she would be a bombshell. If it was the perfect length, and I wonder, was that in your head?
I think that Gary's hair was longer. That would have been something that hair and makeup with Oran figured out for the character. Like what's a good hairstyle for this character? So that's not. I didn't put anything about how long the girl's hair should be.
It's amazing the conversation that goes into that. Random, but I had like a very small part in Fosse Vernon, and where I played Michelle Williams, right? Michelle Williams? Yeah, okay. It's been a while. I played one of her friends, and the discussion I had like literally one line. I come in, I go, "How's it going, Toots?" That's my whole line. That's it. It's in a bathroom. "How's it going, Toots?" And it's just something to inspire her to start crying and then walk out into the next scene where she's crying. That's the whole thing. I cannot begin to tell you the discussion that went into my hair, because they already had her look, her hair. It was the 70s. There was this guy, Stanley, who's sort of well known for like period hair, and he had these vision boards of all these different hairstyles. This is a big discussion. I mean, this is a big part of. Anthony brought it up just as a offshoot, like her hair was perfect. Mm-hmm. I could not believe, if I wasn't on a set myself, to see that for myself. What a big deal that the look of just some chick you're going to see for 2 seconds, let alone the star. It's a really big deal.
Yeah, and I, in the script, like sort of, for instance, the fashions that she and Talia and Emma wear, I think I gave I don't know anything about women's fashion, but I gave a very sort of like, you wanted their fashions to be aspirational. I think I said something like that this is how everybody would want to dress, or something like that. I don't even remember, and then again, the director Ron with the costumer figured out how Honor and her friends would dress, and that's a huge part of the movie that I had nothing to do with.
Right, and it is a huge part of the movie. Yeah, I agree.
Huge part. Yeah, their costumes are so specific and great.
Well, because of the clothing is communicating as well. That's the thing. The subtlety of the clothing, even like without giving anything away, when she and Michael have a study session, what she's wearing during that study session is very important. But clothing becomes like a part of the nonverbal communication, which I think is why it was just such a brilliant. I thought this was just your best work right there.
I agree completely. I've never been. It's my favorite piece of writing. It's the best thing I've ever written. No question.
Yeah. No, Stewie kills Lois.
You're going to have to retire now. It's over.
Stewie kills Lois is pretty good.
I think more people will have seen that than this, but I'm very proud of it. I'm really happy you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. What are you working on now?
Well, this show.
Mm-hmm.
With you guys.
After the show and after you eat dinner, what are you working on then?
Okay. I'm out I'm pitching a lot of things. I'm up for a job. I don't know if I have it yet, so I'm not going to tell you what it is. Mm-hmm. But I'm very excited about it. If I get it, I'll be very excited. If I don't, I will move on. I'm writing currently a freelance script for Futurama, which is coming back next year on Hulu with new episodes. And I was a writer for that many years ago, and they asked if I was interested in writing.
Is that breaking news?
No, I think that was announced a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
It's just it takes a long time to make animated stuff, so it'll be on Hulu, new episodes next year.
Do you have any breaking news for us?
I have no breaking news. I wish I had some.
I have movies if you want me to email them to you.
Have any breaking news for me?
Yeah. Sandra Day O'Connor honor. So.
No, Anthony, no. That's a big NO. I forgot that you had written on Futurama. I loved that show.
Yeah, it was a great job, and it was so funny to come back and write it. Now it's literally been 20 years since I wrote for that show, and to come back and it's the same guys doing it is kind of amazing. But
they're going to have Billy West and everybody back.
Yeah, they got all the voices back, and I've read a bunch of the new episodes. It's terrific. It's exactly what it was. It's a great show.
Oh, I'm excited about that. And so the thing that you're up for at this point, like how many? I'm not going to delve into it because I know you won't tell me, but. Of all the conversations you have with people, like let's say you have, 10 a week, how many of those jobs you actually get?
Well, I mean, it's tough out there. This is a big job. It's very different from something that I've done before. And so I'd be very excited to get it. But I'm more out pitching, show ideas, animated stuff, live action stuff, trying to sell things. And it's, tough part of the business right now. But because there was a large amount of growth because of the streamers, they were doing all sorts of stuff. Now there's kind of a natural shrinkage happening. They're doing a lot less. But, it's that there are ups and downs in the business.
How different? Like, is it a drama? Are you writing, I don't know, maybe like an Indian comedy?
It would be kind of a drama, yeah.
Oh, drama.
Cool. Yeah, it would be cool.
Oh, that's great. Well, congratulations. I mean, obviously, I hope you get it because I'd love to see you do something different and, stretch a little bit as a writer.
Stretch.
Yeah, stretch a little.
Writing for high school girls all the
time. Well, David, thank you so much for joining us once again. We always love talking to you. Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for putting up with us.
No, my God, it's a blast. Great to see you guys.
Thank you, brother. Great movie.
All right.
Okay, Honor Society on Paramount Plus. You need to watch it right now. It is brilliant. It's the Mean Girls of its day, I think.
It is.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Oh, shit, it's upgrade.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
So there's this thing that goes on in Hollywood where people love to talk about Hollywood celebrities they've slept with and the size of their, what's a kind way to say that without being rude? Wiener.
Yeah, size of their wiener.
I've never been a size queen, but there's women out there that truly are, and men that are truly like, size queens. That's something they're into. I don't know. That's never been a thing for me. But it's a thing in Hollywood when somebody has like a third arm, basically, and they can't wait to go telling everybody. So as you know, Pete Davidson, many women have talked about that. In fact, because of the size of his wiener, it was called Big Dick Energy. That BDE became a thing, because of him, famously because of him. In fact, I don't know if you knew this, but People magazine interviewed Kim Kardashian, and she said, "Well, I heard about him, and I thought, well, this could be interesting. Like, I want to see what the BDE is all about." But she said, I didn't think in a million years it would turn into a relationship. Like she was very honest with People magazine. She was like, basically, I wanted to see it. I wanted to see
Show it to me now. I'll show you mine. You show me yours.
Yeah. And, she famously is a size queen. If you think about the men that she's been with in the past, it's pretty obvious. So, we know about him. That's old news. Well, the new information that we got just this week, Rachel Bilson from the OC has a podcast, because every celebrity has a podcast now. And on the podcast, it's hard to follow the podcast, to be honest with you. There's a lot of people talking. It's not clear what they're talking about. There's a lot of insider information. And then out of nowhere, a guy on the show says to her, well, what do you miss most about your ex-boyfriend, Bill Hader, from Barry and from SNL, Bill Hader, famous actor. And listen, he's a big guy, so I wouldn't be surprised. So she says, well, here, this is what she says.
What did you miss the most?
His big.
So this is like a revelation. So of course, this is blown up all over everywhere, social media. This New York Post wrote an article about it. That's what a big idea this has become, to talk about Bill Hader's big idea, or big, what. So I thought we would do like a little bit of a deep dive into this, because it's kind of interesting. No, I'm serious. I think it's really, there's two parts of it that I think are interesting. First of all, the fact that so many female celebrities, female specifically, feel the need to out the men in their lives, or the men they've seen, and not even like men they've slept with. Because I don't know if you know, but you know how we know that Daniel Craig has a giant penis?
How?
First of all, his wife Rachel Weisz was never going to tell us. Nobody he slept with is ever going to tell us. Dame Judi Dench outed it. So they're shooting, she was in the James Bond movies. She's shooting the James Bond movies. And she makes a joke that it was more than 007 inches. She does an interview where she says it was an absolute monster.
How did she see it?
They were on set. And he was changing, I guess. She saw it. She just saw it. When you're on set.
That at all.
No. She wouldn't lie about something like that.
No, I know that. I'm saying you don't just change in front of somebody when you're a star like that, and they just see
maybe
your wiener.
She might have walked in on him. Who knows? She was on the set of the movie. They done several movies together. She said that she saw it. She saw it while on the set of the James Bond movie. That's exactly how she said it. And she said, maybe I shouldn't have said that. It's very uncouth of me, but it was an absolute monster. So she felt the need to tell everybody about his enormous asset. Victoria Beckham did the same thing. She bragged in an interview. She said, not only is it big, she said, it's like a tractor exhaust pipe. That's how she phrased it. Yeah, weird, right? Charlize Theron spoke about, she was in Prometheus with Michael Fassbender. Mm-hmm. I guess she got, working with him, she got to feel it or see it. When you have a sex scene, sometimes things happen.
It.
Yeah. She said that it was such a revelation of the size of it. She gave a speech and she said, I'm available to work with it anytime. Not
you,
him, but it. Available to work with it anytime. And then there's guys that have been proud of it, like Willem Dafoe apparently has a giant one and did like some show back in the 80s where he was literally just walking around naked. Just walking around the set naked. And Dana Delaney was in it with him and she was being interviewed. She's like, yeah, he was walking around with it. And it was like, wow.
Because back in the day, what was his name? I got it.
Milton Berle.
No, not Milton Berle. It was, he was a comedian. Don't get Rodney Dangerfield back in the day would walk around with just a robe on and nothing else. And he would just sit there like that and everybody would see it. So is that what these people are doing?
I don't know. Because if you remember John Hamm, who his wife didn't tell us, he was seen wearing joggers when he wasn't wearing underwear. So it was very obvious what was going on inside his pants. And that became, remember, it was like front page news and they were like doing close-ups. The paparazzi caught him and caught it. And then suddenly it became this big joke about John Hamm's. And then there was actually a Twitter page, John Hamm's penis. And I know because it follows me. It follows me on Twitter, which is the most important thing that ever happened to me. So yeah, of course we know about Tommy, Motley Crue drummer. Tommy.
The
obviously,
world knows about Tommy Lee. Why did that have to be everywhere last week? Every place you go, there's Tommy's wiener.
Oh, really? Again? Okay. All right, thought we've seen enough of it. So I just think it's interesting how all of these females in these men's lives felt the need to out them, as being larger size, thinking that the rest of us are going to start feeling differently about them as a result. At first I felt differently about John Hamm. I thought he was a very good actor. I loved him in Mad Men, and then he kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. And I kind of look back and I'm like, well, at least he's got that going for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we feel so bad for John Hamm.
John's Ham.
I mean, not a great looking guy, great actor, and now that. Something else to make me feel bad about. Thanks.
Well, don't worry, he's out of work now. But why do we care? Like, why would that matter? Why is that an interesting thing? It is. Like, I'm the one telling you this story because I was excited to tell you what Rachel Bilson said about Bill Hader. I was like, whoa, check that out. But like, why? Why is this interesting? Why do we care about BDE so much?
Yeah, because it's just something that you don't see all the time, and you just wonder, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we do see it more than we realize, but it's just no one's talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been with guys that are well endowed, but I didn't
don't do your hands like that. Not like that.
Giant out to here. I love you this much.
That's the size of you.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I know that. No, when guys say, "Yeah, I'm like that," but you can't say that.
Well, I've seen it.
Like that?
Well, not that. That's a lot. That's like a size of an alligator. No, not that big. But my mother's in the other room. I hope she's not listening. But I was once with, I'm going to whisper a little bit in case she is listening. I was once with a guy that it was so big, I couldn't do anything with it. And he said, this is a common problem that he has.
Oh, poor him.
It's a problem. It's a problem for some men that they can't, they can't do anything with it because it's too big. And for some women, they like that. There's a lot of women that are also large and need a larger guy. Mm-hmm. But that's not most women. And this guy had this problem before. So he had trust me, he had workarounds. All guys figure that shit out. But I don't know. I didn't feel the need to go and I told my gay friends because they love that shit. But I didn't tell any of my female friends because they don't care. Like,
You've told it on the air twice.
Well, because it's you guys. I'm going to tell you guys. I'll tell you guys
said
everything.
It on the air twice now. And this is the first time you did this size.
No, but I was also with a guy that had a micro penis. And I was totally in love with him. He was somebody I was with for a long time. Mm-hmm. So obviously, I'm.
But did you tell your friends then?
I did, and
did you really?
Yeah, and it was stupid of me because I didn't realize that they were going to make fun of him, and they would walk by him and go, "Hey, thumbs up," because I explained to them that, like, erect, he was the size of your thumb, is what I told them, which is true. So they'd walk by him and they'd go, "Hey, what's up? Thumbs up." And he said to me one day, "Why do your friends walk by and keep saying thumbs up to me?" I was like, I don't know. It's a stupid girl thing. Just ignore them. Like, I didn't want to tell him why. He probably knew why.
Mm-hmm.
He knows
was thinking, but then he said, no, my girlfriend is not that much of a bitch to tell her friends about my wiener.
Yeah, she loves me. She would never do such a thing.
Right.
But sure enough, of course I told them. You tell your gay friends and you never know who they're going to tell. So that's how that works.
Yeah, so that's your excuse. Your gay friends told your straight friends, and then everybody knew.
I might have mentioned it to one or two friends, because friends who were curious that want to know. Because he was 6'4". So they were like, well, he's 6'4", he must be.
Right.
And I had to set them straight. I was like, the cliche is not true. Just because a guy's 6'4" doesn't mean anything. I'm making the point that I don't know why this conversation needs to always be had other than the fact that there is BDE. That's a thing. Mm-hmm. That there's a certain energy that brings the guys that walk into a room that know that they're packing, they behave differently than guys who aren't or don't, maybe. I'm just guessing. I'm just trying to figure out why it's a thing.
Yeah, because the guys with the, what did you call it? Micro?
Micro. Mm-hmm.
They drive Hondas, and the other The other guys, they drive Porsches.
Right,
and big
SUVs
trucks.
and Hummers.
You know the ones that have the small, because they drive the Porsche.
You
And
can tell
then,
you're by the car, yeah.
yeah. So just look at their car.
What the hell is that? Check this out.
I literally felt like dancing.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
Game time.
Oh, woohoo! I love a good game. Ooh,
Fun and
game music.
games time.
Okay.
All right. The first one of these debuted in 1884.
The first one of these debuted in 1884.
And it was called a Gravity Pleasure Switchback Railway. What is it better known as?
Gravity Pleasure Switchback Railway. Wow. An elevator?
A roller coaster.
Oh, damn.
This house is the second most visited American home in the U.S.
It's either the White House or Graceland.
Which is number 2. Which is
one's
number 1.
Oh, one of them is number 1, one was number 2?
Yep.
I think more people go to Graceland than the White House.
Actually, more people go to the White House. But Graceland, number 2. Good job.
All right, I was close. I knew. Well, look, I got the top 2. I just got them
I
in the
would
wrong
have
order.
never guessed that.
Why? What's another house that people would go to? Name one more house.
Biltmore Estate.
The what?
Well, I guess you don't know. No, Biltmore is the largest home in the U.S., and it's in Asheville.
Oh, I went there. I went there and I forgot what it was called. All right, I went there.
When I went there, because I love going there. It's one of my favorite places in the world. And you walk up to the window and you say, 2, please, and they say $150. And then you say, I'm not going to stay here. I just want to walk around.
Yeah.
It's $75 a ticket just to walk around the house.
Crazy. Well, there's not a lot of famous houses out there. So you got to think the White House and Graceland. What else is there? Name a third house.
Amityville.
Again, people are not going to. You need a house that people are going to buy a plane ticket and fly to that place to see that house.
I would do that with Amityville.
Well, you did.
Love that house. Okay, Spy the Lie.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm going to give you 3. One of them is a lie.
Okay.
2 of them are true. The first tennis balls were made of wood.
Okay.
The phrase 3 sheets to the wind is based on railroad terminology.
Okay.
A newborn's brain triples in weight during the first year of life.
Well, I know that's true. So
Okay.
get that. I mean, I'm a developmental psychologist. I have a fucking PhD in this shit. So you could take that one out because I know that's true.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that the first tennis balls were wood is the lie.
Actually, the first tennis balls were wood.
Get out!
Yeah, 3 sheets to the wind is based on sailing, not railroad.
Oh, I don't get it. So what do you have? What 3 sheets to the wind is then? What is it?
It's based on sailing.
I know it's based on sailing, but what does that mean? Give me the origin of
I
it.
don't freaking know. It's not based on railroad. It's not based on a train. It's based on a boat.
You're terrible at this job. If you're going to tell me some information like that, you've got to give me the whole story. You can't give me just the
Such
beginning
a
and not the
woman.
middle and the end.
Such a woman.
You suck at this. Okay, what's the next one? Give me the next one.
Such a woman. It's like you can't say, hey, so-and-so is pregnant. I got to know everything about the story when I bring it up to you.
Yeah, I want to know, where was the baby conceived?
What the sex is. How
is she
far
getting morning
is she?
sickness? Exactly. How far along is she? I need everything. I need all the information. Okay, so you suck at this. What's the next question?
Guess the word that's missing in this news headline.
Uh-oh. Okay.
You should get this. Cyclist wins a race before running over A, his wife, B, flock of sheep, or C, an overturned drum of baked beans.
Please let it be the baked beans.
No, it was his wife.
His wife.
Yeah, the cyclist
I had a feeling. Yeah.
won the third stage of the annual road race in Colombia before running over his wife, sending her to the hospital.
Yeah, I had a feeling that's what it was going to be. I wanted it to be the baked beans.
Or the sheep. It could be sheep.
I knew it wasn't the sheep. It's hard to run into sheep. They scatter so quickly.
You would think that when you're going towards your wife, you kind of would veer off instead of hitting your wife. I don't know.
Yeah, she wasn't. She was just standing there on her phone.
She wasn't paying. She should have moved. She wasn't paying any attention.
He did it on purpose. He was like, I'm racing a race and you're on your phone, bitch.
Oh, always on the phone. Can't even watch a movie. Always on the phone.
You are a smelly pirate hooker. I bet she smells like the floor of the kitchen at my old fraternity.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
I'm going to ask you this question because you are a work-related guy. Whenever there's a work thing going on, you always have a strong opinion about it. So I have a work question for you. All right, so when I was in high school, they brought in this CEO of some fast food company. And I remember he talked about the secret to success. He said, do every job you have to the best of your ability. He told us about how he started sweeping the floors at that same fast food restaurant, but he made sure he was like the best sweeper the company ever had. And then he moved up to like fry guy, and he was like perfect with the frying and the cleaning up afterwards. And then he made it to manager, and he was like always available for his staff. And he literally put like his life on hold. Like the fast food restaurant became his be all end all. And that's what he says is the reason why he's now the CEO of the company, because he worked his way up. So I don't think that philosophy fits anymore. When you think about companies, people are not at the same company for their entire careers. I know like 2 people that have had the same job that they had when they got out of college. Only 2. And I know a lot of friggin' people. Most people I know have been through many jobs. I remember like in the 90s, it was called grazing, where you'd go from one job to the next and you would just try lots of different things. I think that philosophy of be the best you can be in the job you're in and you'll get noticed and moved up is no longer the case. And that seems to be the philosophy out there of millennials and Gen Z. It is a new philosophy. It is called quiet quitting. Do you know what this is?
No.
Okay. So quiet quitting is when you stay at your job, but you Tony it. You stop going above and beyond. You do the bare minimum, and that you're not going to grind for this company because it's not your company. They're just going to take advantage of you. And as soon as they have layoffs, they're going to let you go. They don't care whether you work hard or not. They don't respect you for working hard. I mean, look at you and I. You and I fucking worked our asses off. We took a station from last place to first place, and they blew us out.
Yeah,
so they didn't
I remember
care.
being in my my meeting with the boss, and I said, we took a shithole of a radio station to number 1. I told him that, and we did. And it's still a shithole of a station, but we took it to number 1.
Right. The problem is you and I have the philosophy of the CFO that if we work really hard and do our best and there's actual results, I mean, we had our bonuses every single quarter, like there's actual results that you can measure how well you did. The company didn't care.
No.
So I think we were stupid. We should have done this quiet quitting thing. And I was listening to a couple millennial friends of mine, younger millennial friends, I should say, talking about this method. And they were saying, like, the only way to advance in your career is to maintain a healthy work-life balance. And the way you do that is not go through everything, go through the wall for the man. That's over. The job should be a quick stepping stone onto the next thing. Advance your pay, advance your title, go to the next thing. Don't be loyal and keep moving up. So here's my question to you. What do you think about quiet quitting? Is this the way to rise to the top, or is this how younger millennials and older Gen Z are justifying laziness?
Well, I have a couple of thoughts. The one major thought is a quote I saw today that said the reward for hard work is more hard work. So if you work your ass off and you do a lot of things, they're going to give you more things to do. And back in the day, I was that guy who wanted to learn how to work on the transmitter I wanted to learn everything at the radio station and bust my ass.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's what I did. But look where it got me. So now my philosophy is totally changed to where I'll do what I need to do to keep the job.
Right.
But I'm not gonna shine anymore because that doesn't get me anywhere.
Right.
It got me in the unemployment line like 4 times.
Yeah. It's funny. I've learned that philosophy too, to kind of do the bare minimum. And I've noticed people around me that go above and beyond on a regular basis. And it's a thankless job. Nobody recognizes it.
No.
Nobody cares. And when there's one editor that I work with who I love. She's amazing. Her shift is over at a certain time. She stays at least 2 to 3 hours after that shift to make sure that the anchors that come next are prepared. And she's there to help, and she'll write stuff or rewrite stuff or get new audio, or she'll keep working. I mentioned it to our boss to let him know, like, if there's ever an opportunity for a raise, a promotion, he needs to know that she is regularly going above and beyond. He said she should be leaving in her regular time. Not thank you, not that's awesome, not thanks for letting me know, I'll give her a commendation or I'll give her a shout out. No, he said she should be leaving at her regular time.
Yeah, when I first started the job I'm at now, the first, 3 weeks, I get called into the boss's office and he said, "You're doing too much." Because there's a thing that when you enter new clients in, everybody in the business can see it. And I was doing like 50 a day.
Wow, holy crap.
And everybody else was doing 1 a week.
Right.
So he called me in and said, "You're making everybody uncomfortable. Slow down."
Huh.
So I was like, from that point on, what am I doing this for?
I know. It's like, it's hard because you want to stand out, but on the other hand, you don't want to stand out.
No, you don't want to stand out.
You don't want to call attention to yourself either. You want to be good at your job, but you don't want to, it's tough. We're in an industry where it's really hard to walk that line. I mean, right now, the company I work for is laying people off in droves.
It's a bloodbath.
It is a bloodbath. Yeah. And I feel like I have job security because I don't have a huge salary. I go in, I do my job, I don't complain. I get in, get out. No one notices me. I used to go in and make sure I said hi to everybody, and then I said goodbye to everybody, and I wore a cute little outfit. Now I go in the back way. I sneak in my studio. I talk to my editor. I get my job done. And the minute it's over, I sneak back out. I don't talk to anyone. I'm in, I'm out. I do my job. I go home. That's it.
I had one boss tell me after I got blown out at the job, he said, if you would have came in every single day and moved a pencil from this part of your desk to this part of your desk, and that was the only thing you did all day, you would still have a job. You caused way too much waves. You wanted to change everything. You made people uncomfortable. If you would have just came in and did nothing, they would have kept you.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know they told you that. I know what job you're talking about. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I could have went and did nothing and kept the job.
But yet we're in a ratings system. So they would have said to you, well, why aren't the ratings going up higher?
But the ratings were. But I was making people uncomfortable.
But you got the ratings up.
Yeah, but I was making people uncomfortable. And it's like what I tell my kids now. All you have to do is show up on time and stay off your phone. That's it. You're ahead of anybody else in your age group. Show up on time and stay off your phone. Right.
That's the best advice. So the quiet quitting is actually the wave of the future. There's no reason. And that sucks that companies have made it seem like there's no loyalty. I have one friend who works for a major company, big. She's been there for not her whole career, but I would say the last, like 10 years maybe. She's been there a long time. She's so good at her job they keep giving her promotion after promotion and raise after raise. But every time they give her a raise, they pile more shit on her. They give her more stuff to do because they just let like 3 people go instead of hiring 1 or 2 people. They gave her all 3 of those people's jobs.
Yeah, and the bullseye on your head gets bigger and bigger.
Right. That's true.
So when they have to cut, like the one radio company we're talking about right now,
Yeah.
they don't care who you are, what you do. They look at money. Oh, you make X amount of money, you got to go.
Yeah, I make shit there, so I got job security for the first time in my career.